Right, boys. So I'm very, very excited because we are now about a week out from a film that epitomizes not only my childhood, but I feel like most people's childhoods, right? This new Spider-Man film has genuinely excited me more than I think any other film has in my lifetime.
It's captured the imagination of the nation.
Exactly, but the thing is, I don't like Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Like, the movies, like the films, I don't like. Bro, to me, the old ones just outdo them completely. I think Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man films are by far the best films.
Found some shade.
Found some shade. Thanks, Alex. Spider-Man 3 is one of the funniest ironically funny films I have ever seen in my life, bro. It's so cringe. They love me.
It's full of memes to the fucking brim. It's
I missed the part where that's my problem. It's so good.
You trash, Brock.
I was looking at some old photos and it seems...
Oh, how did that get in there?
Oh, I can't see it. There's so many memes that have came out of it. How did that get in there? We'll talk about that another time.
Yes.
But yeah, they are the best Spider-Man films, right? I don't think there's much argument about that. Andrew Garfield is the best Spider-Man. Right?
Okay.
In my opinion.
He encapsulates the character better than anyone else. Because he's a very, he acts very young in his ways.
Yeah, I was going to say, I always think he just looks he looks like late 20s, though. Spider-Man as a kid.
Yeah.
He does. However,
the
in the films, you get over that because he acts it so well.
Really?
Because he acts so, insecure and young in the first, loads. And then literally when he puts his costume on,
Spider-Man.
he is, confident, cracking jokes, all that sort of stuff.
And if you're going by that, looking old, Tobey Maguire looks about 46 in the third Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
And he's meant to have just left school.
And also, we forget about the second Amazing Spider-Man film because
Oh, that was funny as well, and so many things. Jamie Foxx has got so many funny one-liners in that movie, bro.
I really like Jamie Foxx, man.
Well, he's back in the new one, and this is the thing I want to ask you boys, right? So, because then you've got Tom Holland, right? And Tom Holland, arguably, right? People think he's sort of generically the best Spider-Man because he looks young as shit. He captures sort of the quirkiness of Andrew Garfield, but sort of the nerdiness of Tobey. But I don't feel like he does any of them as well. But that's a different conversation, right? But this new Spider-Man film is rumored because there is nothing official that they're all going to be in it, right? And there's so much leaked footage of them on set. We just watched the trailer earlier on, and there's literally elements of the trailer where you can see they've definitely cut these men out. You know what I mean? Or they've cut some people out, and who else would it be?
Yeah.
And it's been so heavily teased. So I want to ask you boys, right? Is this arguably one of the most intelligently marketed films ever? Because Sony, who are the main producers of the movie, I know it's in association with Marvel, but Sony owns Spider-Man and they sold certain rights, I think, right? Is it so intelligent that they have not given away any suspense? Not any suspense, any sort of
inkling.
Yeah, that they are actually going to be in it. But they have subtly done so much shit. For example, the leaks. These leak footage have conveniently came out and then just not left the internet, right? Nothing on it. All of these people sort of talking about it constantly. Oh, is this going to be it? And there's nothing confirmed. They drop a trailer. Now, this is one of the most anticipated trailers of all time. And there's a shot in the trailer where you can clearly see one of the Spider-Man has been CGI'd out because the lizard's head gets kicked and snapped back.
Or at least something's been edited out.
You're either accidentally making such big fuck-ups or are you genuinely just free marketing because people know it's going to be there. But if you go to the cinemas to watch this film, right, there's going to be a bit in the back of your head are they actually going to be in it? Because nothing's been confirmed and they're all denying it. But do you know what I mean?
Are they all denying it? I thought Tobey Maguire said something pretty suspect.
This is the thing. He didn't say anything, right? So what happened was somebody went up to him and said, "Are you in the new Spider-Man film?" And he winked.
Right?
Oh,
that Tobey. He's a smooth
He's a
motherfucker.
bugger.
Toby.
You naughty boy.
That's the thing. But then Andrew Garfield is denying the shit because he's promoting Tick Tick Boom, that movie at the moment, isn't he? And he's getting it's a great film, but I don't think people are watching his interviews for that movie, unfortunately, because apparently he's got Oscar buzz over that, right?
Oh really?
You know what I mean? I've seen part of it. He's really good. He's a fantastic actor.
As a thespian, I put all my heart and soul, all my hard work into doing a film like Tick Tick Boom. I gave it my all. And all those motherfuckers want to ask me about is Spider-Man.
It's literally that, bro. He's this character's amazing. He's talking about his story and what he's done. Oh my God, I'm such an honor to play this character. So Spider-Man, and literally you can see in the interviews he's clutching at straws because he's trying to deny it, bless him, but they can't. So I'm wondering, right? Ticket sales for this, apparently they're off the grid. It's crazy. The ticket sales for 2 weeks out is wild.
Great.
Nice. Throwback. And also,
Donda.
it's so clear that they're going to be in it, but there's nothing that's being confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
Is this an absolutely intelligently mad marketing strategy, or is it genuinely stupid? Because if you like release a little clip of these two men, you're going to sell everything anyway. But it takes away that sort of suspense, like, oh, is this... Like, you know when you have that experience in the cinemas and you watch something for the first time, you're like, yo, that's crazy. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I think it's marketing. I think Marvel are... And I would credit it to Marvel, not to Sony, because they did it with Infinity War, they did it with... And I don't even really watch Marvel films.
Yeah.
Those films are marketed incredibly, incredibly well.
Mm.
Even things like... So it was, the Malaysia trailer, where they forgot to
cut the...
edit out the lizard dude getting kicked in the face by something.
But did they forget? Or are they
No, they didn't.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, this is one of the biggest corporations in the world.
Yeah.
You do not... Or even if they did forget, that would have been taken down within seconds.
That's
If that was not intended, you would never have learned about it. Someone would have lost their job.
That's something the TLCpod would end up doing, not like
That is,
Marvel,
yeah.
who are and Disney, who are like the biggest like film studio. At the
Turns out we're the three Spider-Men.
Shouts out. Well, there's another...
Surprise.
Which one's which?
There's another shot.
You are definitely Andy Garth. I think you'd have
I
to be
suppose I'd have to
Tobey.
be... I thought I'd have to be Tom Holland.
I thought... I don't know. Actually, yeah, you probably would be Tobey.
Find some
Maybe.
shade.
Thanks, Hal.
I wish I was
Put some
Tobey.
dirt in your eye.
Well, there's also another shot in that trailer we watched earlier, right? Where they haven't edited the eyes properly. So the Spider-Man's swinging through this fucking construction, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And people have like... Because like, some of these nerds, right, are like proper
Oh, it's
dissecting this.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's actually a little bit annoying.
Oh, bro, yeah, but like the detail they're going into, they're like, this over here could be this, right? And literally what they've sort of identified, apparently, is the eyes on Tom Holland's suit don't match his suit. They are actually the eyes of one of the other Spider-Men.
God
And it's
damn.
not being edited properly out.
Yo, people go deep down.
Isn't it crazy?
I also don't think that's the kind of thing. Again, like, you've got some of the best editors in the world working for these companies. Like, these guys are literally the cream of the crop. They know everything there is. They're so into detail. They're going to be super strict.
Yeah.
And there are things they clearly are intentionally saying.
Hmm.
But also, I think the suspense is part of the marketing.
That's
Yeah.
the thing, isn't it? What do you
That is-
reckon?
that's
And the
a
question
marketing
is, do you think it's a good ploy?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
It's got
But
everyone
then
talking
also, don't you see, though, if they dropped the trailer a week ago, and at the end, you literally have a very subtle thing, like, I don't know, whatever it be, but you clearly know from that, right, they are definitely 110% in that film. Is that not a more intelligent strategy? Just because this is a business, they're trying to make money, yeah? Is that not more of an intelligent strategy? Because then you can guarantee people for the nostalgia value. Me and my dad would go and watch this film, and he'd watch it because he used to watch it back in the day.
Yeah.
But
you know?
would your dad watch it on the premise of like, oh, what if?
No, exactly. And if I didn't describe it to my mum, she wouldn't have a clue what was going on. But if she's seen, oh shit, that's the one we used to watch when we were younger, that's going to be pretty cool. You know what I mean? So, like, what do you reckon? I don't know. It's very interesting.
Yeah, maybe. But I suppose maybe like the parent demographic is not the demographic they're going for. They're going for the people that are there for the nostalgia, the people that grew up with it.
The
Like,
thing,
it's our age demographic that really these
Yeah.
films are targeting.
to play devil's advocate with it, because, I mean, I do kind of think it's smart, but it does rely very heavily on the nerds, you know what I'm saying? People who are dialed in, who live and die by this sort of shit.
Yeah, but I think
Like-
they've probably been conditioning these people
Yeah.
for years.
And the thing is, the casual audience, like, they're not going to look too far into this sort of thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
They're not going to be, like, dissecting every single frame of every single trailer.
Literally.
And you can't guarantee that, you know, it's hit their radar sort of thing. Like, you can guarantee that it's hit the internet nerd community's, like, radar.
Yeah.
And, like, people who are real, like, top fans. However, if, like, they did drop a trailer and say one of the Spider-Man or both, like, and there was, like, a 2-second, like, shot, and they just maybe said one line,
Mhm.
then it would be guaranteed. And that, I would imagine that would get on other people's radar. They would see, like, the pictures of that, and they'd be like, oh, wow.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll go see that. I really want to see the old Spider-Man in it.
Because let's be honest, even if it's shit, it's such a cool concept. Out of curiosity, you're like, how are they going to be able to balance this? Like, is that going to work? So if they do give that little thing away, yeah, they are going to be in a year. You're not going to show how they get there, all of that. But now you know they're going to be there. It does, you know. But then also, you got to look then from the other perspective of fan service. All of these nerds who are like breaking down frame for frame and shit like that. who are the people who are like devoting their days to like finding every minute detail to prove that these guys are going to be in it, right?
I must admit, I think it would be so fucking funny
if they weren't in it and they weren't lying all along.
I would really, really like that, to be honest.
Could you imagine? Because there's rumors now. Tom Holland has 2 brothers who look very similar to him.
Yeah, he does.
And they are both in the cast. And there's rumors that they could be the other Spider-Man from the other year. Now, that would be shit. And it's likely not going to happen.
Oh, my God, imagine.
Can you imagine how funny that would be?
Oh, I'd love that.
I'd hate it because I want to see it so bad. But imagine that.
Because the Marvel community would be on fire.
Oh, I'd absolutely love it.
They'd be spitting blood. Because remember when they did it in Iron Man 3 and the Mandarin was just some guy with on a robot thing.
Just a bloke.
Like the Mandarin was, it was, I forget, Ben Kingsley.
Yeah.
It was, and he was supposed to be like, he's Iron Man's absolute nemesis. He's the big bad in this entire thing. And then turned out to be Ben Kingsley in a cave, just like shooting videos like we're doing now.
I remember that. That's the thing. It's advertising though, isn't it? Because it still gets you there for that. And you know, this has clearly worked because like I'm reading here, like it broke, like, it sets new records for ticket sales. It's broken, crashed websites. I've seen videos on Twitter of people saying they were in a 3-hour queue to get tickets for a film. And apparently I seen this one guy, he's like one of the main like comic book things, and he said it would probably be easier to get a PS5 than to get tickets for this film. It's obviously an exaggeration, but like to put it in perspective, it's pretty fucking hard to get tickets. So he's obviously worked this marketing strategy, but like, are you missing a golden ticket?
Yeah, but that's the thing.
You know what I mean?
Like, of course, it's riled up interest within the dialed-in fans.
Exactly.
I mean, I know there are a lot of dialed-in Marvel fans. However, you know, the people like who enjoyed the first load of films, who are like not really dialed, they haven't really watched much recently, but you know, you could guarantee those fans if you like actually dropped it. But then it does take a lot away from the sort of suspense.
Yeah.
But then I feel like also it's basically 99.9% confirmed that they're in there anyway.
I put it in perspective. Me and my sister have always loved our Marvel shit, so we watch it together, right? But you two boys aren't as into it, right? As from your perspectives, would you be more inclined to see this film now under the current marketing circumstances? You know, there's all these mysterious leaks that have came out of nowhere, like there's pictures of on set and suits and shit like that, which you may not have seen if it hasn't been brought to you. Or if you've seen that just purely out of nostalgia, because I'm assuming you boys watched Spider-Man at some point in your life, otherwise where would you have been for the last 20 years growing up? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, if you've seen that, oh shit, these guys, all right then, which would have you more curious to go and buy this film? Do you know what I'm saying?
Me personally, I'd probably rather know that all 3 of them were definitely in it.
Yeah.
Mainly because I'd be interested in how, you touched on it earlier about how they would balance it.
That's the thing, isn't it?
How do you balance those? Because Tobey Maguire's a pretty big character.
Yeah.
And has obviously fallen out of Hollywood, so...
And all the villains as well.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a big cast there.
And it's a lot. And also, it's Tom Holland's film, so you've got to balance that story too. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Out of curiosity.
There was a rumour going around that he was pretty unhappy that the other 2 were involved, right? There was a rumour that he didn't really like the idea. Whether it's true or not, I don't know.
Damn, that's bold. That statement to make. You think he'd relish that?
But then you think, like, it's your imagine being like, I've just been cast as James Bond. What an incredible moment. We're going to bring back everyone else's favourite James Bonds for your film. So like,
and they're coming to you broke sales, not for you, but for them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's what I mean. Because
that's
it isn't. If they do end up being in it, it's not about him.
That's true.
That'll be the biggest. That'll be the biggest Tom Holland film. It won't be about Tom Holland.
That's exactly. Maybe that's why they've done it. What do you reckon? What would you be more inclined?
Well, I feel like it would be a better moment in the cinema when they turn up not knowing. However, say you weren't in my life and you hadn't told me all about this, and I didn't know that they were going to be in it. I mean, I would buy the ticket more likely if I already knew they were in it. Like if it was released officially.
That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but again, it'd probably be a better moment when they do finally turn up in the film and you're not 100% sure.
But that's the thing, like, it's almost like it's neglecting certain group of fans in a way. But that's the thing then, you haven't got to do it. Like, if they did it, they haven't got to show them. They could have just done such a tease where you're like, oh shit, like, that's definitely, do you know what I mean? Like, something so subtle, which sort of gives it away, but which isn't directly, I don't know, it's interesting. It's really good, and it's obviously paid off.
And I am slightly worried, because, how to put this? I don't want to see Doc Ock in that universe, because it's the sort of bit of action, try and make it serious.
Yeah, it's the cross.
Crack 5 jokes.
Yeah.
And I've seen it in the trailer. It's the sort of, jokes at Dr. Octopus. Now, Doc Ock, in that second film, was possibly one of the most emotional, like, resonating villains I've ever seen in my
Who
life.
plays Alfred? What's his name?
Yeah.
Alfred Molina.
That's
Alfred
why
Molina,
that's
or
why
something.
that film is so good, because Dark Ark is very, like, relatable.
Mm.
He's a serious character in a not so serious world. I don't want it to be sort of cheapened by, like, what I say are the shitty Marvel jokes.
Yeah.
They're literally, like, on a conveyor belt of jokes. They're all the same jokes.
Mm.
They're just rehashed all the time. And it's like, they're not particularly done well. And it kind of cheapens the gravitas of having someone like Dark Ark. The original films are funny. But, like,
Subtly though.
yeah, they're subtly funny.
Yeah.
In case of the sort of conveyor belt of jokes that are Marvel films these days. Spider-Man 1 and 2 took their villains very seriously.
Yeah. William Dafoe's Green Goblin was crazy good.
They took them seriously and they gave them the respect. Whether or not this film will, I don't know.
That's the thing, innit?
Yeah.
I do hope, like, because I feel like the Amazing Spider-Man movies, like with Reese Evans as the Lizard and Jamie Foxx, I really hope they redeem them a bit, because they're such good actors, and they could be such good characters by their motive, but they were just done. Not so much Reese Evans, but Jamie Foxx was done dirty, bro. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I really hope that they, like, sort of redeem that. But that's the question then. How can you balance all of that in 2 hours or 2.5 hours, whatever?
I don't know, because the problem with Spider-Man 3 was there was too much. If
Yeah.
it was just Sandman in that film, like we were saying earlier, if it was just Sandman, that was a very good villain. I think Sam Raimi had a very good story for that villain.
Mm.
The studio wanted Venom in there. The studio needed Harry, like, Osborn to become the new Green Goblin in it.
Yeah.
And in that, like, it all came together, and he didn't quite, like, make the film,
That's the thing. It's the same
like,
with the
as
Amazing,
coherent.
and it's the same with the Amazing Spider-Man too, because they wanted the death of Gwen in it.
Yeah.
They wanted Electro in
Electro.
it. They needed to introduce Harry Osborn. They tried to introduce Black Cat like,
Yeah,
as
and
that-
the Rhino.
and the Rhino,
just
and it's just
tagged
like,
on.
and it's just not gone well, mashing all of that. So now this one, you've got literally 3 universes, 3 completely separate stories,
Yeah.
6 villains, 3 Spider-Man you've got to reintroduce. You've also got the story that's come about from the last Spider-Man, like, spoiler alert, where his
Doctor
identity's been
Strange as
revealed.
well.
Like, that's a lot. that's
Yeah.
if they do it, it could be one of the best pulled off Marvel films of all time.
It could be, but then, like I said, Marvel's not for me. I prefer Batman
Yeah, good point.
because it's serious. Like, the Batman films are films that, like, transcend the superhero genre.
Yeah.
They are something more. They're something better, and that is actually a quote from the film. I'm glad I said that. No, but they are, and, like, there is comedy in them, and I'm talking about the
Dark Knight series, right?
Dark Knight trilogy, yeah.
Yeah.
There is comedy in them. However, it's not the sort of take all the air out of a, like, situation that should be big, you know?
It's
Yeah.
comedy in the right circumstance, right? So
Yeah.
like the whole thing with like the Joker has very dark humor,
Mm.
but it works in the like with the when he blows up the hospital, and it stops and he does the like he's
Yeah,
trying
that
to
was
work out how to
improvised.
press- Yeah, but like
Crazy.
funny
Mm.
at the same time, pretty terrifying
Mm.
because he's murdering. how
No,
many
exactly.
people? Or is the hospital empty at that point? Can't remember. But yeah, like it's. I think it's difficult to get the balance right. I was just sorry, I went quiet for a bit. I was just reading some of the critic responses to Spider-Man 2
Mm.
about Doc Ock, and the whole point of it being like a little bit more serious and a little bit more relatable. Actually, yeah, because that point in the trailer, there's a couple of jokes they make there. Don't know what the Scooby-Doo thing was about. Weird.
It's a bit
Yeah.
stupid, right?
It's not funny. And even the Doc Ock jokes, like it's like you're called fucking Spider-Man. Why are
Yeah.
you complaining that his name is Dr. Octavius Spencer?
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
Like, Marvel sometimes for me just does a little bit too much. Tries to appease
That is
everyone.
my general, like, problem with Marvel. They're very uncreative.
Yeah.
They have their way of
Yeah.
doing things. It's like cookie cutter filmmaking. It's like good to watch in the thing, but literally it's a story most of the time that you've seen lots before.
It's a different
It
guy.
ends the same way,
Yeah.
like the sort of big or end of the world sort of bullshit.
Mm.
And also they just, any like serious situation, they just have like 9 jokes that completely take the air out of it.
See, that's why I like the Amazing Spider-Man series a lot more than a lot of people, especially compared to the new Marvel ones, because there was real consequences in it, bro. Like when Gwen died, I know it was a thing. That was deep, man. Like she was just
Yeah.
about to move away. He's in love with his gate, and he's trying to save her, and he ends up killing her. I know she was gonna die anyway, but that's deep. And it's like you finish, you leave the cinema like shit, man. That film was pretty dead, but that was sad. Like that, there's real consequences
Yeah.
to it.
And that's the thing. The
Not
original,
hiding.
the first Spider-Man trilogy and the Amazing Spider-Man films, at their worst, you can still see that there is a story in there. There are moments in there that, you know, they had in mind were going to be the big moments, and they thought out well. I mean, there's some other stuff in there that's not as good. Don't get don't get it twisted. But like, there is still like the sort of good moments in there, the sort of, you know, big moments, and you know, they laid the foundations for it before, and it is serious, you know.
Yeah, you're right. And this is very ambitious.
Yeah,
I hope it pays off, but like, man, I don't know. It's crazy. Can you imagine though, right? The reason they haven't been marketing is because they're actually not in it. Could you imagine being in the cinema and you walk out at the end and you're like, oh no, they weren't lying.
Could you imagine how deflated everyone would be?
Yeah.
I just don't think they can now. Like, I don't think they can't be in it. I don't think there's a scenario.
I'd love it if the plan was we're not going to have them in it, and then they were like, fuck, we really need to put them in now because everyone's really hoping we're going to
imagine that.
loads of reshoots.
That's curious, boys. I'm curious. I'm very curious.